Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 17th of May 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this morning session of the last trading day for this week. As always, before we jump into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then guys, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here very quickly is the FTSE 100. Now I talked about the FTSE yesterday in my traders tea time, where I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on it. So we may see a small retracement, and then yep, we got that little small retracement. Then we actually continue to push higher. So good news here for the FTSE bulls. We could see this one traveling further up here. Of course, do not exclude the potential here for also a small maybe retracement back down, maybe even actually going back towards these EMAs here, the 100 and the 50 shown as the green and the red line respectively. Of course, the next target for us here is the 7,370 level, as you can see, which acted as a good area of resistance here back on the 21st of March. But to be honest, a better area of resistance could be seen here near the 7,420 zone, which was the nice area of the high here of the 3rd of May. So for now, guys, of course, this could continue traveling higher. It has picked up the upside momentum, but let's not exclude the possibility for seeing maybe a small retracement back down, maybe like I said, towards these EMAs here, the 100 and the 50, and we could see then maybe another push higher. Still, for now, we are targeting the 7,420. Let's see if it actually can reach that. In order for us, let's say, to kind of shift away from the upside, at least in the short run, we would like to see a drop back below this level right here, below the 7,280 zone. Ideally, we would like to see maybe the 4-hour candle closing below that, but for even better confirmation, a drop below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart could potentially mean that not all is good in the bull block, and we could see further declines here, maybe even back towards the 7,150 level. So for now, keep your eyes on these levels. Keep your eyes on on the upside. Keep your eyes on the 7,370, and then if we may see maybe a small retracement, then if it struggles to push further down towards the 7,280, then yep, we may see another leg of buying here. If it drops below the 7,280 and the 200 EMA, then well, it could turn out to be ugly for the FTSE again. Very quickly on DAX. Now I talked about DAX this whole week, and this is what I kept talking about. So initially, basically, of what I was saying, when we were still trading around here, when we were back above the 12,030 zone, I said that yep, we may see a small retracement. So we did get that nice little retracement back towards the 12,030, and you can see that then since from there the index skyrocketed and broke above this downside, this long-term downside resistance line taken from the high of January 2018. So it's a good sign for the bulls here. This index could continue traveling higher. Also, let's not exclude for seeing a possible retracement here back down. In a way, we could see maybe this one climbing a little bit higher, maybe testing this 12,350 level. We do have the another good potential target here, just slightly below that, and this is that little high here that we had on the 7th of May, which is around around the 12,320 zone. So basically, in other words, if we see a break above these two, then yep, it could travel all the way here towards the highs of May at the 12,440 zone, so approximately there, so around the 12,435, 40, something like that. So keep your eyes on this, guys. This is looking quite interesting here on DAX. The question here is actually, by the end of May, will we actually get a nice pop above the above this level if we reach the these previous these previous highs here that we saw in the beginning of May? If we see that move here, the question here is, will by the end of May the index close above this or not? So let's see how this is going to play out. For now, we are going to remain somewhat bullish on this one, even if we see a retracement back down, another test of this long-term downside resistance line from above. As long as the price remains trading above it, we will aim for higher levels. If we see a drop back below the 12,145, then well, it could raise a bit concerns again, a bit more concerns, and we could see maybe this one traveling back towards this medium-term upside support line taken from the lows of December last year. Sorry. So yep, for now, guys, that's the game plan. Let's see how it's going to play out. Yep, if it breaks above the 12,350, that's great. We may target the previous high here that we saw in the beginning of May. Bitcoin. Also, something that I've discussed in my traders tea time yesterday. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level, so we were still hanging around here, hanging around just slightly above the 7,770. But what I was saying, that we need to see, even if we see a drop below this, this could send the crypto towards this level right here, the 7,450. But if that fails to hold, now this is where it could turn out to be ugly again for Bitcoin. So in other words, it is right now not looking good for this crypto. We may see a further slide lower, but we will only target right now the area around the 6,855 zone, so approximately there, so near the highs, sorry, near the lows of the 12th of May. And I'm looking at here at Bitfinex exchange, so you might have slightly maybe different levels, but depending on where you're actually looking at, which chart, whose chart you're looking at, which exchange chart. There we go, finally got it. But basically the low of the 12th of May, that's what we're aiming for here, guys, for now, because like I said, it is now below this 7,450 level. It is kind of breaking below its 50 EMA here, shown as the red line, and to be honest, it could make its way all the way here towards the 100 EMA, which is, like I said, around this 6,855 level. If of course that fails to withhold, further declines are possible. This is when we will target the 200 EMA, or even actually this this upside support line taken from the low of around the 26th of March. So could be a nice test. This will be very interesting to see if it actually travels all the way to this upside support line. Of course, the bulls are hoping that it won't, but yep, for now, guys, it is looking a bit towards the downside more. And now, like I said, we are targeting the 6,855 level. In case this reverses back above the 7,450, to be honest, we're going to take a more cautious approach. This little territory for us is going to be a neutral one. In order for us, let's say, to get comfortable with higher levels, we would like to see a push above the 8,200 level. So keep your eyes on these two areas. Gold, very quickly on this one. I also talked about this one recently, basically what I was saying, that if we see a drop below this downside resistance line again, this is where it could turn out to be ugly for gold again, or at least in the short run. I'm not saying that it's going to turn out to be ugly in the long run, but at least in the short run, we probably could see further declines. This is where we will target the areas like the 1281 again, approximately there, or the 1278, or even actually better, this this upside support line that has been running here for quite a while, and that's this medium-term upside support line taken from the lows of August 2018. So basically for now, all this is kind of turning to be negative again in the short run. If it continues to trade below this downside resistance line, this is where, like I said, this is where we will target this upside support line again. If this suddenly bounces, pushes back above this downside resistance line and starts climbing higher, to be honest, for us now, what we're going to be looking here for is we need to see that nice good move back towards these highs, this week's highs near the 1301. If we see a break above that, this is when we will only kind of consider higher levels. For now, we're going to remain neutral around here. If we see a push back above this downside resistance line, but if, like I said, if it starts climbing above the 1301, then this is where more bulls probably could start getting excited here, and we could then aim for higher levels. For now, looking at this picture currently, it is looking somewhat more bearish. For those who like to wait for better confirmations, you could in a way wait until we see a drop below this here near the 1284-85 zone, approximately there, guys. And if we see a drop below this, then yep, we could target this upside, medium-term upside support line. DXY, very quickly, also talked about this week. I think on Wednesday I've mentioned this, that basically we're still hanging around here within this kind of between these two lines, and what I was saying, that we would need to wait until we see a clear breakthrough either of these highlighted areas. So we got our nice pop here through, not only through this downside resistance line, but also through this 97.70 level. So, and it traveled higher, perfect hit of the 97.85, and this is, you can see where the kind of the price stalled on DXY. And in a way, what we could see here is maybe something like this happening, where maybe we could see a bit of retracement back down towards the 97.70, and or even actually if it let's say continues to trade above this downside resistance line, still this could be a good sign for the bulls to kind of step in and take advantage of the lower price and push this one higher again. Or for those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do here is now wait until we see another clear push above the 97.85 level. This way, the index would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and then we could target the 98.10 level here. We're marked near the highs of the 3rd of May. So for now, guys, of course, this is looking, we are cautiously bullish on this one, but we'll wait for that nice confirmation break above the 97.85 before we get excited about the upside again. If this suddenly drops lower, well, for us to turn kind of, let's say, bearish at least in the short run, we would like to see a drop below the 97.45 level here, and ideally below this 200 EMA as well. And this is where we will target areas around the 97.12, or even slightly below that, maybe going all the way here towards the 97 zone. So keep your eyes on this, guys, keep your eyes on these levels. But first, of course, in terms of the downside, we would need to see a clear move back, not back, but below the 97.45 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into a few pairs, AUDUSD, I talked about this one also yesterday, and basically we were still kind of hanging around here above this key area of support near the 0.6890. Now, what I was saying, that we need to see a clear break below this before we could get excited about the downside here, further declines. Now, the only thing is here is that yes, we broke this 0.6890. We may see a further continuation here to the downside, especially if we're looking at today's pivots here. You can see that the pair is balancing slightly above its S1. It may travel a little bit lower here towards its S2, which is around the 0.6857 level, approximately there. But the next target that I had here is and still have the 0.6830. This level, let me just go back into history a little bit. And we need to kind of slide back, and actually we need to switch on into the daily chart in this one to kind of drag it all the way to the back here. And basically the 0.6830 6830 level acted as a very strong area of support here back in January 2016. So this is how important this level is. From there on, from in January, the pair traveled higher and kept on moving higher. And it only kind of broke that level in during the flash crash here on the 2nd of January this year, but we kind of don't really, I mean, to count down in, but it was a bit of a nonsense move here. But in other words, for now, of course, we are targeting some lower levels. The pair continues to trade below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 17th of April. We could see further declines, like I said, towards the maybe S2 around the 0.6857 zone, something like that. But again, if it continues to slide, then yep, our last kind of target here for now is the 0.6830. This is going to be a very important level to watch. If this decides to retrace back up, I mean, as long as it remains below this downside resistance line, still will remain somewhat bearish. We'll continue targeting lower areas in the future. But if this downside resistance line gets broken and we see a push above the 0.6970 level, maybe this is the point where it could turn out to be quite interesting for the bulls again. So as more of them could start joining in here and potentially maybe lifting this one towards the 0.7025 zone, which could be around the 200 EMA by that time. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. For now, we are looking more bearish than bullish, but like I said, be very careful here. Be very careless. Take it slow. Take it simple. And first, let's target the S2. Today's S2 around the 0.6857. That's in the case if we see a drop below this S1. USDCAD very quickly here. Now, if you're looking for a very annoying pair, now look no further. This is USDCAD. So basically, it's a bit of a mess here, and of course, I do understand that it's kind of moving sideways here. The only thing is that it did travel lower. Yesterday the travel initially lower, broke below the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, but then quickly reversed back up, and here traveled back above the 1.3450 level. This level that I keep talking about on all my in all my videos where I'm covering USDCAD, and basically now it's back to the 1.3480. Again, it's balancing around here. This is very interesting because even though if we see an overshoot here, we might see something like this that we had here in the beginning of the week as well, overshoots, but never kind of having the close of the 4-hour candle above that level. So that's why we need to see that nice good close above the 1.3480 before we get excited with slightly higher levels. And by slightly higher levels, I mean the 1.35 zone. And if that fails to withhold slightly above that as well, we do have the high of the 24th of April around the 1.3522 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Let's see if it actually plays out. For now, guys, like I said, even though we could see a further push higher here, still we need to, ideally we would like to see that nice good close of the 4-hour candle above that. Until then, we're just going to remain neutral, continue observing this because this is a bit of a mess here. If this suddenly drops back below the 1.3450, we may target the 200 EMA again in terms of going further down. Now again, this is a bit tricky. We may see another drop lower here, maybe towards the 1.34 zone, but again, we'll take it from there, see how it's performing around there. But for now, basically that's the game plan. Again, it is pushing above the it did already push above the 1.3450, but we need to see a nice good close of the 4-hour candle above the 1.3480 before we consider higher levels. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. I do apologize for running a little bit over my time, but again, like I said, thank you very much for watching this and listening to the. If you want to join in later on at my trader's tea time, and that's as always 13:15 GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.